A massive thank you to Deezer, Jambo, Roll, Fabian and Sam for subscribing to the channel. If you're not already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Quickly, before we jump into this video today, a bit of a disclaimer for you guys. Unfortunately, it finally happened. My webcam broke for one of these videos. So unfortunately, yeah, very, very weird to be editing a video without the wheel cam. I think it was just a strange one-off thing, you know, it should be back in upcoming videos. But yeah, that explains why there's no wheel cam today. I must admit, I was absolutely gutted. 112 episodes in, it finally happened.
Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 15 of season 6 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here back with the penultimate race of what has been one of the best seasons, I'd argue, of this My Team series. But of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live Monday from Mexico, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. As always, a massive thank you to all of you guys as well for the insane continued support. You know, we've smashed through now through 41,000 subscribers. We're almost at 42k. You know, if you're not already, please do leave a like and get yourself subscribed. It massively helps us out. But yeah, you guys have just been mind blown with it. You know, if you're not already though, please do get yourself subscribed. Now, I think maybe, just maybe, 50k before F1 2022 releases might just be possible here. So we're going to keep really trying to push hard for that. That, of course, was my big goal for 2022. But yeah, today, though, back in Brazil, the Autódromo Jose Carlos Pache. Big championship implications, though, in this one. Plain and simple today, the gap 27 points between myself and Max Verstappen. If Max beats us today, the championship heads down to Jeddah. If we beat Max, on the other hand, we head to Saudi Arabia with the World Championship all wrapped up. It's as simple as that at the moment. The closer battle is still in the Constructors' Championship. There's just 19 points between us and Red Bull there, courtesy of Sergio Perez being ahead of Pierre Gasly in the championship there. But it is all still to play for here in Season 6. There are 2 races to go of, yeah, what has been one of the most dominant seasons between myself and Max Verstappen there. Like I said, the last time one of us didn't win a race was Monaco, and even that was Pierre Gasly. Just Red Bull and 212 Motorsport that have won races again this season. Exactly the same story as we found last year. But yeah, let's get into it then here from Brazil. Well, here we are then, back in Brazil once more. Of course, a track that we've seen so much action in this series before. You know, some brilliant battles by the AI as well. I think, yeah, the most iconic ones, those 3 wide moments we saw 2 seasons in a row down in towards the Esquina del Lago. But anyway, coming towards the end of our first free practice run, of course, R&D points, again, they don't really matter at this point. We've almost got 100,000 of them ready for the final season. You know, if we suddenly got some rule changes now. But that should be purple? Not quite. Come on, Schwartzman, get out of the way, man. Although, actually, might give us a nice tow up towards the start-finish line here. We are going to get the purple score, though, on the tyre wear programme. Pretty solid start to the weekend. Of course, still wondering whether it's just worth Rosberging it, but I would love a good final race at Jeddah.
Complete and a job well done. We got some
team happy with that, then?
Run, so come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers.
Yeah, I really would love to wrap up the title today. Then, of course, we could do something a bit fun at Jeddah next time round. But, of course, yeah, don't want to throw it all away. We could end up doing, you know, having some bad luck like Hamilton in 07 here.
Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. The choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like.
Right, well, here we are then, qualifying day at Interlagos once more there. Of course, the other big question a lot of you guys have had for me is who is going to be replacing Pierre Gasly. Of course, announced his retirement at the end of this year, just a couple of race weekends ago back in Kota. We have been in talks and conversations with a couple of other drivers around the grid, and we think we might have found our teammate ready for Season 7, but of course that'll all be confirmed and announced in the preview for next season that'll probably go live towards the end of next week. But yeah, we've got someone in mind that I think you guys are going to like in the car. In fact, a few of you guys have actually recommended them to me as well here. But yeah, qualifying though here in Interlagos, again, there's so much parity now in qualifying trim between so many cars. Ferrari actually went 1-2 at the end of the first session, but we need to be trying to get down into what the mid to low 104s there. You can see Sainz already on a 104.1, Perez now on a 104 flat. But yeah, Ferrari, they seem to do it every year. Drop back pace at the start of the campaign, and then seem to find a lot of qualifying pace right towards the very end. Never quite have race pace though, weirdly. Anyway, up towards the line then, end of our first run on the mediums. It's a 105.6, there is Verstappen. A 103. That is very, very quick from the Dutchman, and we'll just play some mind games with him. Perhaps he's trying to do the same to me. Right, first lap though on the soft compounded tyres as always, going out on the same set we used at the end of Q1. Let's just wait and see then. We need to definitely be getting down towards the low 4s, but Verstappen might have the 1 lap pace here. We head out of Jungsao, about a second up on my previous lap here, so it is going to be a mid 104 here, but I think that's the only way you can probably describe this lap, is pretty mid for the most part there. 1.1 up near enough, and it's a 104.5. Leaves us P8 at the moment, far too close to the cutoff. Right, may as well put on a fresh set of boots for our final run here in Q2. I love Interlagos, it's such an iconic track as well, and it is just such a fun circuit. On F1 2021 there is really kicking the back end out as we try to put the power down through the first sector. We need to find a little bit of time, mainly of course so we don't have to start the race on a worn out set. And out of the final corner then we have found another 1/10 and a half or so. So probably at least, you know, another 3/10 on the board here. We can probably get close to a 104 flat in Q3. There we go, 104.4. Puts us only 7th, but I'm hoping that's good enough for Q3. Doesn't fill me with too much confidence, though. Oh, there we go, then. End of Q2, and we only just squeezed through into Q3 there. Ricciardo, 0.06 of a second clear at the end of the runs. But yeah, I reckon a low to flat 104 is probably going to be possible. So maybe we could still launch this thing right towards the front there. You can see a trio of Brits, 12th, 13th and 14th there. Just Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah, and a sandwich of 5 British drivers that currently make up the Formula 1 grid. But yeah, let's get into Q3. Right, here we are then. Start of final qualifying here from the Brazilian Grand Prix. And we are going to need the lap of our life. It's such a weird feeling at the moment. You know, we have still got a huge championship lead heading towards these final 2 rounds. But, you know, if we get a reliability issue somewhere, that gap is completely eliminated, because you can pretty much guarantee if we don't win a race, Verstappen is going to be the one to take it there. As again, a lot of curb through the first couple of corners. They're really trying to cut it tight through the Senna S, but as we head down the Esquí del Lago in towards turn 4, braking just before the 50 there. Maybe a little bit too early that time round, so we get a little bit out of shape. This first lap, not perfect, as Charles Leclerc immediately sets the benchmark. I guess really our only hope at the moment is Daniel Ricciardo can maybe give me a little bit of a slipstream up towards the start-finish line here, because he's definitely given me a lot of dirty air through the middle sector. Didn't quite see who just posted a new fastest lap time, but no idea whether we're getting any sort of help from Ricciardo there. Perez sets a 103.9. We set a 104.5, so not far away there, as it was actually Pierre who went fastest, but yeah, not the perfect lap. There's definitely a lot more in it. We've always got to consider the fact there might be rain here at Interlagos, but I don't think it's going to arrive before the end of qualifying. However, it is looking rather overcast here as we get ready to start our final lap then here from qualifying. Of course, all the way at that final corner, you're trying to set yourself up for the lap. Verstappen, though, not in the perfect position either, down on the 3rd row of the grid, but we need to nail this. Not the best run out of the Senna S, but not the worst either, but there's definitely a lot of time to find as the lap unfolds. Coming towards the end of the lap though, Just need to try and nail Jung Sao, and then I'll have a look at the Delta. Oh, I thought I got on the throttle a little bit better there, but apparently not. So we're going to lose just a little bit of Delta, pretty much to the checkered flag there. Still 2/10 up, though. It's not going to be the perfect lap I wanted, but it only P8 in the end there. That is not where we wanted to be in qualifying, but I don't think Verstappen did much better.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Stroll, Perez, and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Well, there we go then. Qualifying done and dusted here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And 5 cars from 5 different teams making up our top 5 there. Verstappen was just 1,000th of a second behind Lando Norris. So I'm sure Lando's probably going to get told, you know, get out of the way very, very early on in the GP there. But 6th and 8th on the grid for the 2 championship rivals. This gives us a big, big chance as we get ready then here for the Brazilian GP.
Welcome along then to the place where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner. And it's the place, a year later, that Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's Interlagos, and it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit, and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. And that gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into Turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into Turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lance Stroll lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Gasly, Lando Norris, and Verstappen. Sainz, Mr. Monaco, Bottas, and Daniel Ricciardo. Tsunoda, Aitken, George Russell, and Joe. Latifi, Lundgaard, Esteban Ocon, and Nikita Mazepin. Schwartzman, Eilert. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the Brazilian GP. 2 races to go of Season 6 here, and what a championship it has been up to this point. But, yeah, plain and simple, if we beat Verstappen today, we are world champion. If we don't, the fight carries on until the finale next time out in Saudi Arabia here. I'm sure Jeddah is desperately after another championship decider. You know, last year's, we went into it with quite a good margin, and of course, yeah, walked away after a fairly controlling race victory there. Not quite, I'm sure, the way the fans would have wanted it, but it was a dominant display, and I was pretty happy with it. But yeah, I'd love to go into it this weekend with it all sealed, wrapped up. You know, Brazil is always a great place to try and win a Formula 1 World Championship. But yeah, starting P8, we got Verstappen just in front of us. Fingers crossed we can try and hound him early on in the GP. Waiting, though, on those 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go. Not my best start in the world there, as Valtteri Bottas immediately has a look round the outside. It's Verstappen, look at that immediately. We lose places off the start there. Verstappen, though, muscling his way past Pierre Gasly, and I think that's Charles Leclerc there, straight up into P3 there. So we've lost 2 places. Verstappen's gained 3 there as Ricciardo in the other McLaren gets around us. We're just darting around trying to find some room. It's Jack Aitken now trying to have a look as well as we head down in towards the bottom of the bowl there, but not the start we would have wanted. Jack Aitken runs into the side of me there, so Tsunoda is going to try and sneak past him as now we look again around the outside of the Australian here through Sector 2. But yeah, not the start we would have wanted there. Bottas has nailed it up a couple of places as well. But all kicking off here at Interlagos. Verstappen, though, needed to make that move in towards turn 1. It was either this is going to be a move that keeps me in the championship, or I'm accepting my defeat right now there. As we head out of the final corner, back end just kicking out ever so slightly as we nudge the inside curb. But yeah, Sergio Perez leads the way ahead of Lance Stroll and now Max Verstappen there with Gasly and Lando, I'm pretty certain, in 4th and 5th. But yeah, not the start we would have wanted here in Brazil, but a long old race ahead of us, 36 laps, plenty of time for us to try and make progress. Heading out of the final corner then of lap 2, and I would not be surprised if Perez, if Max Verstappen can make a move on Lance Stroll, whether Perez just lets him by there. But the Canadian not looking slow early on in this race. I think, however, here we need to start trying to create our own destiny in this Brazilian GP. Sainz now, I think, has got the DRS on Valtteri Bottas in front even.
Continue to use fuel at this rate, then we won't have enough to reach the end of the race.
Okay, Jeff, I'm going to believe you this weekend, like I do every weekend there. But yeah, Bottas, I don't think, has got the DRS.
Lost some time to the car behind.
I don't care! Yeah, Bottas doesn't have the DRS, though, on the cars up the road. So fingers crossed if Sainz tries to look for a move, we can either pick one of them off or try and get them both in one. That would be rather nice, but purple through the first sector. Come on then, Carlos Sainz. Let's see you try and get a run on that McLaren. Of course, I always say that McLaren is one of the slipperiest cars out of the corners. But here we go. Here comes Carlos Sainz. No, not quite getting close enough to Bottas this time round. As we head up towards the start-finish line. We need to start seeing moves coming in. Otherwise, we're going to have to start getting our elbows out a bit more. Always like to give the AI a few laps, just being a bit more patient with them. As now, here comes Carlos Sainz. But Bottas, having none of it, slams the door firmly shut. And I think Carlos's nose was stuck in it there, or one of his feet perhaps. Bottas here is causing a bit of a trolley train early on here as we try and head out of the final corner. I just can't seem to get the drive that that Ferrari and that McLaren are able to there.
On Ricardo, they have some kind of mechanical problem.
Ricardo with issues though.
4.4 seconds.
You can already hear the gap to Pierre up the road then, opening up early on here. But we try and stick all over the gearbox of Carlos Sainz out through the first couple of corners. Out of the centre as we go, gaining on the Ferrari. But he's just gaining on the McLaren in front there. Sainz again locks up. Might be able to get a run down the hill. We use a lot of battery here to the outside of Carlos Sainz. Oh, he runs deep towards me, but he slows down.
Great pass.
And that was one of the weirder and least predicted moves I've done in F1 2021. But if that doesn't send a sign to Max Verstappen that we are going to put it all on the line as well, I don't know what will there. Brave move around the outside of Carlos Sainz, who did a very good job not to run into me. Let's now see if Bottas is going to be vulnerable. As we start lap 7 then of this GP, Sainz always seems to be able to get the run down the hill. Let's see if we're going to be able to do the same there as well. A little bit of understeer in the dirty air of Valtteri, but we will start to gain now with the DRS activated. Gaining on the Finn. Oh, who tries to move late on in the braking zone there, but we get it slowed down, and we'll say thank you very much. Hopefully try and force him a little bit further back, and maybe now we can leave those two to battle as we try and close down the 4-second gap to Charles Leclerc. Oh, already getting worried though early on. Look at that front right tyre in this GP. We have massively overheated that early on here, and Bottas is going to come back at me. As Charles Leclerc gains a little bit more time there, we cannot afford to lose the place to Bottas though. Oh, really slammed the door on the McLaren there. But yeah, struggling for tyre temps early on. Don't see that all too often in this career mode, but fingers crossed we can bring it back in check. Just got to be a bit careful then with that front right. Yeah, we just can't seem to keep that front right tyre in a window that I'm happy with, because then every time we just have to then drop some pace to try and get it back in the window. Gap to Leclerc is opened up now, so you can just see how hard we're working them. Perhaps you just got to try and bring it back a bit, but I also don't want this happening. Bottas again going on the offensive. Force him to the outside, and we will hang on once more. We've got the pace to hang on in front of him, but we're just losing time to the cars in front. There we go. Teammate into the pits. Very early from Pierre Gasly. Of course, we are going to try and do the soft medium here, so we're not probably going to pit for another 4 or 5 laps or so. We're just going to need that extra pace later on in the afternoon, I think. So we've got to take the gamble. Yeah, there we go. End of lap 12. No other cars into the pit lane, so Gasly must have had something wrong.
Window, you'll be on the hards.
Or is 2 stopping, perhaps? It would be very, very stupid from Pierre. We need all the points we can possibly get in the championship, but maybe he's struggling with the tyres as well. Oh, we've got yellow flags out. A bit further back as a whole host of cars into the pit lane. One of the Haas cars looks to be going slowly, although they've kind of looked to do that all year. As it's just Perez that stayed out there. Schwartzman out, though, of the Grand Prix, so we're not going to get a safety car. As I need to look where I'm going. Gasly knew fastest lap of the GP, though. But fingers crossed for all these guys. Well, it looks like Gasly's actually got the jump on a load of them. So maybe Pierre hasn't gone for such a bad strategy, but I'm still reckon he's 2 stopping. There we go. Checo into the pit lane as well at the end of lap 14. Could we get another lucky safety car like we did last time round in Mexico? We're not convinced.
Give us the best in lap you can.
As that is not going to help us out down in towards someone there. That just goes to show how hard we're pushing at the moment. As Pierre, yeah, definitely on the 2 stop. But Perez, I think, is going to come out still ahead of Stroll and Verstappen. Not by much, as, yeah, big mistakes coming in from me. We have just not got the car into the rhythm today so far, and we've made so many errors.
Better condition than yours. We'll keep an eye on the times.
Yeah, we're going to have to pit end of lap 16, though, onto our set of mediums. Out of the final corner, though, here of lap 16, and you can just see these tyres have absolutely had it there. Pierre Gasly closing in the gap on us. He could be critical later on in this race, but getting the car slowed down into the pit lane there. No idea where we're going to re-emerge in this GP. We might even get stuck behind the Aston Martin there. In fact, we probably will be after that little mistake earlier on. It has been a disastrous Grand Prix so far, but we're going to be on slightly fresher, slightly quicker tyres between now and the end of the GP. Just need to keep our head down and focus. We can still recover a lot from this. And every place we gain here...
Stop once now, 1 stop left.
We're definitely not going to be stopping again here, Jeff. But yeah, every place we regain, though, in the second half of this GP could be critical in the championship here, as we're going to come out right with Carlos Sainz here, but all the way down in P10. So not what we need at the moment, but still, yeah, a lot of time to close up the gaps. Look at this. Sainz has got no grip on those hard tyres there. Has to try and cut in front of me. So we're going to send it to the inside. Hamilton style there. There we go. Carlos Sainz has been navigated off for a second time then.
9th place now.
Was already, again, just struggling with the temps with this car at the moment there. Whether I'm just leaning on it just that bit too much. But Tsunoda, he won't have any DRS on Valtteri Bottas just in front of him. So we're already up 1 place on this lap. Is it about to be 2 there? Is gaining on the Mercedes there, and up the inside of Yuki we go. And there we go. Up now into P8 once more. This is starting to shape up a bit. Next up, Bottas. We've got quite a lot of pace now in the car on these medium tyres. Never say the hards work too well here at Interlagos, but we took a big gamble there because we lost so much time towards the end of the first stint here. Bottas again is going to go defensive.
We're trailing our teammate by 16.7 seconds.
16 seconds behind Pierre. We should be ahead of him before the end. And of course, he's then going to be super fast later on in the day as well. Now up into P7 there, as Lando Norris just 5 seconds up the road.
You're pulling out a second a lap on the car behind.
I love to hear that from Jeff, but yeah, still, Leclerc actually closing up the gap to the top 3 on his hard tyres, and we're closing down the gap to Charles Leclerc. We aren't out of this just yet. Pierre Gasly, I think, is still the big unknown in this GP, but Perez might have a few small issues here. Hence why we're all starting to just close up. I think the only driver that really isn't is Lando Norris, but that AlphaTauri never quite has the same race pace as it does in qualifying. Here, Gasly always used to pull off miracles with that, but he is here for his last ever Brazilian Grand Prix. Just 1 more Formula 1 race for Pierre.
Okay, gap ahead is 2.1 seconds.
There we go, Pierre Gasly back into the pits. So we aren't actually going to re-emerge very far at all in front of Pierre, if in fact even ahead of him in this GP. But yeah, looking at the gaps at the front though, Sergio Perez has definitely got something wrong with that car. And Stroll just can't seem to find a way by. I'm sure if it was Red Bull only, Verstappen would have been sort of set free and ready to carry on pushing. But now, as we come out, well, Pierre comes out of the pit lane here just behind us. This could be a really good chance for myself and Pierre to close up and work together late on in this race.
We're 2 laps under fuel target. We need to start aggressively conserving our fuel reserve.
Guess the other big question, of course, is how well will these mediums hold up in the long run in this GP, because we're only 7 laps into this stint and we've still got another 13 to go here. Activate the DRS though, all over the back of Lando Norris. I'm sure he'll be told to defend from us, but I'm not sure there's going to be anything he can do. So we get the car slowed down much later on the brakes than our former teammate. Next up, we've got to hope our current teammate can move past Lando as well. Because, yeah, like I said, myself and Pierre could both be on for a winning formula here. Oh, we got someone heading out of the pit lane. It's Mick Schumacher. Luckily, he comes out and just gets out of the way. 10 laps to go then here from Interlagos. And now, the gap to Verstappen we can actually see on the Delta. And it is coming down rapidly at the moment. However, team absolutely spot on there. We are catching Charles Leclerc ahead.
2.2 seconds.
Thanks for that as well, team, I suppose. But yeah, we're going to have to try and slice and dice our way through this group. We are going to need the precision of a surgeon today. We want to try and make it through this train of cars without picking up damage. Of course, really, we only need to get ahead of one of those cars in that group. And it is the man that currently separates us from the podium. Verstappen, I'm sure, will throw absolutely everything he's got at this, just like he did lap 1, but always knew the hard tyres wouldn't work around here, but we took a gamble, trying to stretch those softs as far as we did, and it almost went badly wrong on a couple of occasions. Oh, inside the DRS range now then, in this GP, and now, of course, on the slightly softer tyres, we actually get slightly better pickup as well, as we head out of Jungsao there, but 7 laps to go, 8 laps to go even, I should say. Here from Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, there is still work and moves to be done. As Gasly cannot seem to find a way around Norris, I genuinely believe the AI tend to struggle here more on the game than in real life. Oh, look at that, Antonio Giovinazzi does not do Ferrari's Charles Leclerc any favours there. He's already been booted out of the Ferrari Driver Academy in this series. Of course, gone to Alpine, so I'm sure now he's kind of just throwing caution to the wind. But Leclerc, yeah, now outside the 1 second zone. He should be able to close back into it by the DRS detection point, but this might be our chance. As we head out of the final corner then, closing up to the back of Charles Leclerc. He does not have anywhere near as big a draft as I do. As we head up towards the start-finish line, thought about looking for a move in towards turn 1, but we were just a bit too far back there as we take way too much curb through turn 2. Got to be super careful though, these tyres starting just to slip ever so slightly. Nothing to worry about just yet, but, you know, we're going to have to be brave on the throttle to make a move. If we overstep it, it's GG. Charles Leclerc there. Big kick of oversteer as he tried to get up the hill. Same place we made the move work on his teammate Carlos Sainz. And now the key just through this middle sector is taking some slightly different lines, making sure we get air over the front wing there and produce the downforce so we can stick in his gearbox as we head in towards this final proper corner of the lap there. Can we get the throttle down? Yes, we can. And there we go, sticking close to Charles Leclerc this time round. Surely now there's going to be a move on the table as we get back towards turn 1 here. Charles Leclerc goes defensive on us, but we have a look towards the outside of the Ferrari. And there we go, really, really late on the brake. Charles Leclerc trying not to have any of it, but we hold firm. And we now move up into P4 of this GP. 6 laps to go here from Interlagos. We should be good on fuel by the end, but Verstappen, he's been so far in front of me all day long so far. Sergio Perez trying to hang on for the race victory. I'm sure he never would have thought we'd be filling his mirrors in the dying stages here in Brazil. 4 and a bit laps to go then here from Interlagos, and we're now all over the gearbox of Max Verstappen. I've said it before, this year probably the first time we've actually had some decent on-track battles with the Dutchman on F1 2021. Last year we didn't really tend to have many battles with him, it was just sort of more the bigger picture. As we head up towards the start-finish line here, lap 33 of lap 36.
Try to keep this momentum. Gap to teammate behind is 6.9 seconds.
As Gasly now trying to close back up to this train of cars at the front. But Verstappen, of course, nestled inside the DRS of Lance Stroll as well there. But we've got an Alpine in the way. It's Mazepin Look at that, he sits on the apex right in front of Max Verstappen here. And this might give us the opportunity as we head up the hill there. Verstappen, he's going to sit in the middle of the road. We look to the inside and Verstappen's got nothing he can do there. I'm sure he will be absolutely furious with Nikita Mazepin, always the villain in Formula 1 there, the Russian driver. And this time around, he might just have shaped a Formula 1 World Championship, because we take the place from Verstappen with 3.5 laps to go here from Interlagos. I'm sure the Dutchman is absolutely raging in that cockpit at the moment, but he needs to keep his head down. This could still go the other way again, as now the other Haas of Mick Schumacher breaking down by the looks of it in this GP there. So Haas not having any luck this weekend as well there, but 3 laps to go. We don't need to risk anything now in the dying stages of this Brazilian Grand Prix there. We just need to keep the young Dutchman of Max Verstappen behind us, and our second Formula 1 World Championship will be ours. All over the back of Lance Stroll here. I don't know whether it's worth trying to risk a move on the Canadian or we just hold firm. I'd still love to win here in Interlagos today, but I'm not sure it's the right thing to risk at the moment. Oh, you can just see there, back end still struggling for grip. These mediums are certainly reaching the end of their usable life. But one more lap to go then here in Brazil, and what a race it has been there. So unpredictable. Verstappen now, though, going to try and go on the offensive once more there. He's just 3/10 back, and that gap is coming down between myself and the Dutchman. Are we going to see Stroll make any sort of move on Sergio Perez for Mercedes' first win in genuine years here in this career mode? I think the last time they won races was all the way back in Season 3, maybe Season 4 actually, now I think about it. But yes, we round the final lap here from Interlagos. I think there was always going to be the opportunity to make a move on Max Verstappen here, and I'm sure we would have pushed for it, but Nikita Mazepin, like I said, many drivers' enemy, if you will, in Formula 1, and I'm sure now, if he wasn't already, he's going to be right at the top of Verstappen's list there. There's certainly going to be no Christmas cards exchanged between those two this winter period. But round in the final few corners then here of the Brazilian Grand Prix there, Sergio Perez is going to end a 10-race dominant spell between myself and Max Verstappen there. But as we head out of the final corner here in the Brazilian Grand Prix, Verstappen is going to have to wait another season. We come through for World Championship number 2.
Fantastic drive, and it means your driver's world champion. What a result. Enjoy it.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula 1.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the Brazilian Grand Prix. There are dramatic scenes late on from Interlagos, but we do walk away with our second Formula 1 World Championship. Like I said, Sergio Perez ends a 10-race win streak between myself and Max Verstappen. They're a dominant season by the pair of us, but 5 cars separated by less than 2 seconds at the checkered flag there as well. That was kind of an insane race there. You can see Pierre as well took fastest lap by just 8 thousandths of a second over me, so a little bit gutted with that one. But it is Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll and myself on the podium there. Verstappen, I'm sure, yeah, heartbroken and gutted. The Dutchman will have to wait another year to try and pick up his second Formula 1 crown there. But Charles Leclerc 5th ahead of Gasly, Norris, Bottas, Tsunoda and Jack Aitken in the Alfa Romeo, picking up another point there. They've really come on strong late on in this championship. Just Schwartzman, who didn't make it to the checkered flag there. Schumacher seemed to sort out his technical gremlins and bring the car home in the end. But it does mean, yeah, championship-wise, 30 points with just 26 up for grabs. We do walk away with our second Formula 1 World Championship there. Stroll as well, a little bit further down the order, jumps past Bottas and Ricciardo there. Of course, Mercedes power helping him out late on in the game. But what a season it's been, though. And still, of course, yeah, one more race to go next time round in Saudi Arabia there. Constructors-wise, though, that is where things are going to get interesting with just one race to go of this season. 6 points between us and Red Bull, of course. We were really focused on the Drivers' World Championship. Don't desperately need the prize money, but could always be useful as we get ourselves ready for Season 7 there. But there we go then. We've done it. Once more, another Formula 1 World Championship, our second to date on F1 2021. Thank you all so much for watching this video as well, though. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourselves subscribed. And we'll be back very soon with the finale of Season 6 here. Then we prepare for Season 7. We're going to do a last question mark in Jeddah. That should be good fun.
None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.